Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to the Bridges of Light show. We're here this evening and we're going to talk about energy. Energy that is you, your chakras, your auric field, and what we can do to help manage those energies. When we start talking about our energy, we usually think of physically, but there is a lot more to us than just the physical energy. There's the energy that is part of our lives with everyone around us, which we are part of in everyday life. Hi Julie and Leslie. We need to take responsibility for those energies. Hi Carol. Lovely to see you here. We need to take responsibility for how we are, use that energy to get the best out of our lives, get the best way that we can. We can feel confident and confident in what we're doing. Hi Louise. Hi everyone. Oh, you're all coming in nice and early. I thought this bright summer evening would be hard to get people in. How are you? To look at the core of your energy is the main thing, to understand what it is you're working with. Because it's difficult at times to think of, hi Mary B. It's difficult at times to think of something in a tangible way that we don't actually see. We're all very good at, if we have a sore thumb or if we have a pain in the tummy, we will go and get, okay Louise, sorry, you will do something about it, but energy wise, we don't always recognise there's something. So what we're going to do this evening, we're going to look at the core of your energy. Look at the chakras, and I know most of you actually have done some work, if not a lot of work on this area. But what we're going to do as the show goes on, is we're going to look at ways of bringing the energy to a place where you feel that you can manage it no matter what's happening around you. Anxiety is a big problem today for many reasons. Pressures that comes from our daily lives, from work, from family, from trying to be everything for everyone. And as we know, we can never achieve that. And it's at a price that we pay. So look at it in the sense of, what is it that we can do? What is it that we actually have in our own space, in our own environment, that we can look at to help us? You'll all hear me talking about colour, because I just love colour. I feel colour is the way to work with your energy. You can use it to calm yourself. You can also use it to energise yourself. And that means that you're able to take control of situations that is literally within your reach. So let's look at the core energy that we're all made of. I have a diagram here that shows the chakras, and I know part of the screen does be blocked by the info coming in, but this is a diagram that shows the energy of your aura. Now, it's not as tight as that. It isn't as neat as it shows, as it indicates there. But what we have here in the center, for anyone that hasn't explored this area, is all these color spots are the chakras that feeds the energy. When we look at Heidi and Olivia, when we look at the colors, we can see that where I'm coming from with colour, that I use colour a lot in my work. We look at, we have 7 chakras that feeds into the 7 layers. Hi, Olivia. We have the energies going out, radiating outwards from the core of our body, which is where the chakras are. As time goes on, we're going to work a little bit more about the aura and what it does. But we look first at how the colours work, and then we will progress it into the aura and progress it then into how we can meditate. And as I use the word meditate, but it's taking time for you, it's taking time to go inwards and be able to calm the energy. When we look at we use words already in our daily lives. We use them to talk about how colour affects us. Red with rage, green with envy. We use these words in everyday life, and they're part of us, and sometimes you understand where it's coming from, and sometimes it's just accepting where it's coming from. If you look at the base chakra, I'll show you this diagram here as to actually how those chakras work. They're a vortex of energy, a cone of energy that we have that is going through the central line of the body. I mean the central line as in coming from head down, face forward, because it corresponds with the spinal energy, which gives us the kinetic energy to work physically, our muscles and our organs. So it's a combination of energy that comes from that source and connected, so that you'll see later how mind, body and spirit connects together. But if you look at this, I have to use the diagram to look at it directly. The base chakra is here, and that base chakra vibrates on the colour red. Now red can be seen as sometimes the anger and all that goes with it. But if you think of what happens to you when you're angry, there's a surge of energy that you're able to do things that you wouldn't think of doing in ordinary times. That energy is about power, and it's about putting into action in its positive light, putting into action plans that you have to do. So it's about being motivated, about being able to go forward and put in a plan in action. So that energy is very, very powerful. And we always say, if you're going to look for something of a bank manager or of someone a favour, always wear red below the waist, not above it. Okay, and we'll talk about why that is in a minute. It's about energising, using the colour. So it gives you energy, it also gives you confidence. So take it that what you want to do is show your full presence, that you're able to compute things, that you're able to pull things together and able to get into a level of action. When we move up, but yeah, first of all, before we move on, if that's in a negative phase, what happens is you lose energy. You don't have the physical energy to do your work. So if you feel lethargic, if you feel any way kind of despondent, it's the colour to wear. It's the colour to look at how you can actually pull yourself into a stronger place. When you look at where it is that you can work, just take time out, go maybe out into Mother Earth and start to just breathe in that energy that's there. Don't let it go and ignore it, because you need to work with it. When we move up into the Sacral Chakra, which is the second one up. Oh, my little iPod. The second chakra will come up here in the sacral, and that's about our sensuality and our awareness of what it is that we need to, to interact with other people. It's about, as I said, it's about sensuality and sexuality. It's about accepting who you are. And unfortunately today, what we have here is multimedia now in our homes. That is a great method and medium of working, but it also can put tremendous pressure and has the ability to erode people's confidence in who they are in themselves. So just when you feel that little bit separated from yourself, look at wearing orange, being somewhere where you're able to digest that colour into that area. It's just around the navel area. When we look at how it can be negative with us, see it as a point of view where you're able to overcome that negativity by going into the centre of yourself, the core of yourself, and accept yourself as you are, because that's the sensitivity that you need to create within yourself, and then you will have the strength to accept who it is, whatever is happening around you. We move up and into the solar plexus, and as we move up into the solar plexus, it's an area where it actually is a joining of the upper and the, I have to go back to this again. We're here in the stomach area. We talk about digestion conditions around us, circumstances that's going on around us. We talk about the need to be able to accept things and to digest them. That tells us in itself that the very important aspect of that chakra, we have to look at it. Stomach takes the brunt if we don't look at it. We have we have the pancreas here and the spleen, all in that area. So when we look at it in colour, we look at it there in the yellow, and that colour is about digestion. It helps us to, if you go into restaurants, there's a lot of emphasis, especially in the fast food restaurants, you will see a lot of emphasis on that, and the orange as well. Both those colours you will have a lot of in fast foods, because it's to get you through quickly, don't have you sitting around, let you get the food and move on. That type, it's a fast food rather than in restaurants. But looking at that colour, so look at where you can, what you can wear that will actually bring that colour to the fore. Look at things, tops, even belts, anything that brings that into your colour zone. Because what we want to do is energize the chakras. Let them take the power from wherever it is, wherever it's accessible. So that's where we move on to the green, because despite what I thought time is of the element, and to get through what we want to get through is it just moves on very fast. We move up to the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is the love chakra, and it's about being aware of the need to love the self, because that's the most important person. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else, because you don't know what love is. So we have that lovely pink colour that is much lesser. We have the reds that we do associate with love, but the heart chakra is a pink, and it's a lovely, gentle, soothing colour that helps to ease the pain that we carry, because life's not pain-free emotionally, and unfortunately we have a lot of experiences that gives us scars that makes us feel vulnerable at times. So when we when we look at that, we can see where the pink is about healing and nurturing. There's also a lovely green comes in. The green is about balancing the emotions, and when you look at someone who has green in their aura around this area here, you know that there's a balancing going on there, and especially in the healing aspect. We have here a smaller chakra called, it's the Thymus, on the Thymus. The Thymus is about our immune system, and it blends in really well with the pink. It feeds into it, so it's able to generate the energy that's there coming in the pink, so, and the green. So if you're feeling, if your immune system is under attack, it's good to use the pink and the green, and a light green, not the strong green. Now, it would be that pale green that is very healing and calming. That's the easiest way of describing that green. Not a strong colour. We move up and we have the Throat Chakra, and it's about communication. So what we do is by talking our truth, not talking as someone expects us to be. That's the difficulty we have today, is being pleasing people and saying things that is against our general truth. So it's important to actually be truthful to yourself and express that truth. Hi Myra. Express that truth, because what happens if you don't? You begin to feel a tightness here. You begin to feel the will to express lessons, and that's something that is very difficult to overcome when it goes too far. So looking at that area there, it's lovely to get a blue scarf, wrap it around your neck, or something blue up top where you're able to actually get the benefit from it. And it does work, believe me, it does work. We move up then to the third eye, which is up here, and that's the area where you develop your clairvoyance. It sees the images. We talked before about clairvoyance. What clairvoyance is? It's seeing imagery. Let it be like a photo, or let it be like a silent movie that it's running, going on in here. It's developed from in there, and there's the pineal gland there where it's part of that energy force that comes, that you can work with. So with it, what you really need to do is to take time out in the stillness, which we're going to do later on. We're going to look at how we can just generate that stillness and go into the space where we're true to ourselves at our level. The colour that radiates from that one is indigo, which is a type of very deep purple. It is a deep shade of purple, and it's difficult to develop yourself or envelop yourself in that colour, because it can really bombard you at this level here. So it's more what you do, the easier way to work with that area is to actually sit in the silence and in the stillness within, to allow that, because I definitely wouldn't recommend you wearing anything to bombard that area, because otherwise you'd be all over the place. And we move up now to the Crown Chakra, and the Crown Chakra is the spiritual direct link. It has the lovely colour of lavender, it's a misty to a white shade, of a whitish shade So it's that very, very difficult to see. I'd say in all fairness, there's very few people would actually see to that level. Because each colour has a vibration that actually is from the base chakra, which is very close to the body. The vibration is fairly erratic and can be visibly seen. As we move out in the colours, and the chakras then begin to feed out into the energy field. If you look and see, we'll take the solar plexus, the yellow. What you have is it feeds out into the, it feeds out into the aura, and where that yellow vibration is. Now the colours can be easy enough seen when you train your eye to seeing. It can be easily enough seen out to that level. After that, it becomes a little bit more vague and a little bit more erratic in seeing them. Where what generally happens is you will have areas just where the colour will be seen, rather than it surrounding the body. And there's reasons for that too, because what happens with that is that there's a part of the body where there's a main focus, and it's coming in, the colour's coming into that area for a reason, for development or for healing, or different reasons for them for coming in on different causes, because it can be something from the past. Anywhere along the line, stop me, because the thing is very hard to go back to a question. Go back when we're down the line. But if there's any questions, just hold me and we address them as we move through. I will slow down long enough. When we have all this energy being fed out into our aura, and the function of the aura is there's a few functions that we know of at the minute. But I always feel our aura is like the atmosphere. There's 7 layers in our atmosphere, in the universal atmosphere. Don't ask me to quote them or say what they are, because they're big words. But it's like there's only so much of that is recognised today. We're still on that journey of exploring. It will take many years of learning for us as mortals to be able to understand, because I feel a lot of the time we wouldn't be able to understand. And in our ordinary working life, we're doing a lot of things all at the same time. So that makes it difficult to be able to spend time to absorb just the complexities of our energy. You have gurus who would spend their time in that energy, and they would actually be very much in tune with what we're capable of doing, what our energy, what our aura field is about. But the energy of our aura, it's about sensing. We're able to sense things before we actually become aware of them. We're able to sense, we walk into a room and we can sense what is going on in the room. We are able to, at times, our energy can go out halfway around the world and pick up something that's going on, we'll say in Australia, for example, and get that feeling, I must contact someone or whatever it may be. And it is a very complex mechanism of energy that our auric field is made up of, because it's like an energy that's basically each part of it on its own is powerful, but on a synergistic level which when it's all pulled together is much more powerful than the sum of each on its own. So it's very, very, hello John, how are you? It really is a lovely, it's a lovely concept that we're part of that energy. Our energy is much greater. So at this stage, I feel that, Anne Lynn, how are you? I feel that we're just at the early exploring stage of realizing what we are, how powerful our energy is. We can, in time, I suppose, we will be able to, I feel that we'll be able to diagnose through our auric energy, because when there's something physically wrong with us, the auric field is affected, and it becomes the vibration changes. That's the easiest way of saying it. You often hear people saying, and it makes me smile, that there's a hole in the aura and they had to stitch it up. Things like that you hear said. But no, it's about the vibration in the areas where it is different. And in general, when our energy field is constantly vibrating at a level where we're interacting, we're busy, so we're using the energy in so many different ways. So it makes it difficult to actually, if we think sometimes we feel an energy, especially around the stomach, we can feel it externally before actually feeling anything internally. So it's about listening to your energy and being aware of what it is that it's telling you. When the other thing, when we look at how the aura, when we fall in love with someone, the energy that is more energetic to do with the aura, because it's like having two people that vibrate at the same level. So you're able to actually connect with the person, and you mightn't, even before knowing them, that energy can actually connect. And I would also have the belief that when we have when we want to do something and there's a person involved in us wanting to do. Yes, Aisling, yeah, and that is very true. Aisling says low energy starts with our stomach every time. And it's true, because it is where we actually feel our sensitivity. Hello, Vasant. Thank you for joining us. When we have that energy to look and see what it is that we want to do and who it is we want to do it, I do believe that our auric energy goes out there and is able to connect at the level that you're looking for the answers. By and large, your energy, your auric energy, can do all these things by just having a thought. But it's like when someone passes over, when we think of them, their energy is there. Their energy is actually with us. So what we're doing is they draw close to us. And when they draw close to us, we actually think of them. And that's the lovely part of it. Vasant is looking to see when I'll meet my girlfriend soon. Well, that's in your hands when you will meet your girlfriend. It's not about when as I say, if you want to meet your girlfriend, you actually create that. You create that energy that I talked about, that you put it out there, and that will bring into reality what it is that you're looking for. When we look at the aura, yes, psychics work with fortune telling through the aura. Personally, I don't. I have very little time for wanting to know what's going to happen. I have to deal with whatever happens in the here and now, and that's the way I look at it. But it's very much the energy field that we have, this auric field. There's something called the Akasha records, and the Akasha records, they literally hold the record of all our lives, and it can be opened by psychics, and it's up to everyone. I don't have knowledge of that area of work, so I can't really make any judgment on it or any kind of comment on it. But I do feel everything is about. You're very welcome, Vasant. I do feel that you put something out, and it happens. And I know personally things that I like a wish in different things, in quite major things in my life happened as a result, and it wasn't intentional. It was kind of just a wish for something. You wish for the lotto. That's not. I don't wish for the lotto, but it's things like that, and you actually materialize. But a part of that is about your journey. Part of that is to do with your spiritual journey, and this is where we get lost at times. That when we have I suppose challenges, the easiest way of saying it, and mind you, for some challenges it can be much greater than others. When we have those challenges, it's difficult to be aware of your spiritual journey in the midst of that. It's very, very difficult, because you don't think of that this should be part of your life. But unfortunately for many, it's very difficult to deal with the situations. Our energy, when we get anxious about things, our energy becomes quite involved in that anxiety. Sometimes to the point of where it gets out of control, and we can't manage to work on a we'll say a day-to-day basis. Pardon me. That can create difficulties in our lives at many levels. If you think of it, of when you're anxious, what happens to your mind? You become very much caught up in the mind. So just look at it as we went through the chakras there, just look at it in relation to where that energy is brought up into the mind. It's taken up from the lower parts of our body. And as a result of that, then all the energies, all the chakras are out of balance, because all of this is going on around here. And it's like, the only way I describe it is like the blades of the helicopter, the rotors of the helicopter, where it's flying around and you can't even get a thought to pull it down, to make sense of it. So when that happens, going on the center line of the body as we go down the chakras, what happens is our heart begins to race. Our stomach becomes uneasy. And then we have all that goes with that, all the complexities of that, then that brings about more anxiety. So it feeds more and more and more. So when we want to look at that and how we can work with it, we need to take the responsibility of looking at ways to see how we can calm that. And it's always much easier to do it at the early stages rather than at the later point where it's already in full motion, because it's difficult to slow down when you're at that level. I remember I used to do stress management days, and there was someone who kept asking for it and to let her know when I was doing it. And when I said I was doing one, she said to me, "Oh, I'm too stressed out at the moment to do it." And it's true. You can be too stressed out to actually dedicate time to relax. You need to actually be conditioned into it. So, like that, when we become anxious, we have all the different things that happens us that our mind talk will actually talk us out of things. I said earlier about this being a challenge, this project being a challenge, and the way of dealing with that was this evening to take time out and just go into the stillness and not get as worked up, because I was living ahead of the time rather than being in the present. And our mind is strange in the sense that we talk ourselves into things that doesn't really exist. So when it hits you like that, just take the time out to look and see what it is that how you can work with it. We will do a brief. I call it meditation, but it's actually it's a meditation in a sense, but it's going into the stillness. It's going in to work with the energies and slowing them down, because as you become aware of your energy field going at a faster pace, you will become aware of the need then to say, right, it's time to slow that down. And the calmness then comes in. And within the calmness, as we did in the last show, you can ask your spirit for a message. You don't have to, it's just a thought that it's a matter of personal choice whether you want to get spiritual guidance. But it is the time where when the mind stills, you will have that ability to be able to just go into that lovely, lovely spiritual dimension. So give yourself a couple of moments there to prepare yourself to sit. Find somewhere that's comfortable. Not too comfortable, because we don't want you sleeping. That's the biggest problem with meditation, that you find yourself, it automatically induces a sleep hormone, so this is why it's very easy to fall asleep. So if you're sitting in a position that you're not well supported but you're comfortable, you're not as likely to fall asleep, and that's the key. Telephone off, be in a place where you're not likely to be interrupted. The environment's just every bit as important as taking the time out, because you can be in a lovely relaxed state and next thing, bang, something happens that just takes you right out of that very, very quickly. So just to find yourself, I'll give you a couple of moments to be able to, in the meantime I'll stoop down to get my iPad that fell on the floor. just going to add some music. There's no feedback on that, shouldn't they? Okay, just allow yourself now to just take a few moments to be aware of where you're sitting. And just take a few deep breaths in. Deep down into the lower abdomen. And now as you breathe in, just breathe in with awareness. And breathe deep down into the abdomen, and as you breathe out, allow any tension that you feel, just allow it to leave. And we move up now into the abdomen area, the upper abdomen, where we have the solar plexus that we talked about earlier. And just breathe deep down again into the abdomen. And breathe out, just allowing yourself to be at ease. Focus for a few moments on this area, because there's a need at the moment to just be aware of any kind of unrest you may feel there. Just allowing it, just relax. At this point in time, we become aware of the base chakra energy and allowing that to become calm now. Base chakra is around the pelvic area. So just allow that to relax now. We're going to move up now and be aware just we need to spend a little more time in that base chakra. It's just not time yet to move up. Just allow the energy to flow freely. We're moving up now to the sacral, and again that chakra, allow the energy to become calm and at ease, accepting yourself, being aware of the real you. We move up now to the solar plexus, and that energy that's there, just allow it now to become calm. lovely energy that can just settle the stomach. As we move up now to the upper body, we'll be focusing solely on the chakra energy. So be aware of the energy, the heart chakra. Just breathe normally. And just focus on the heart chakra. Now breathe in love. Love into your heart chakra. And breathe out love. Thus every time you're breathing in, just say love. And as you breathe out, love. We're going to move up now into the throat chakra. And here we're going to just focus on being aware of being able to speak our truth. Speak our truth with love. Allow that energy to move up from your heart into your throat so that you're able to speak your truth with love. We're going to focus now on the third eye. The chakra just above your eyebrows. This chakra, if you want to develop your clairvoyance, you focus on this chakra to become aware of this ability. Just allow any tension that you feel here, just allow it to leave, and this will help clairvoyance. And we're going to move up now to the crown chakra. Crown chakra is about peace and love. Being at peace with yourself and accepting love, both from the spirit world and from yourself. Just allow that energy to radiate now through your whole body, the acceptance of you, the acceptance of love, the acceptance of joy, the acceptance of peace. Now become aware of energy that's all around you. The energy of calmness. The energy of healing. And spend a moment now where I stop talking and go to that place of inner peace. And if you want to ask your guides or helpers for a message, now is the time to do it. Just nice and calmly come back into awareness of where you're sitting. And be aware of any message that came through from your guide. Also be aware of that calmness that you're feeling at the minute. Hi Donatella, hi Alina. That ability to create the calmness is within your heart all the time. And the difficulty there is to take the time. When we get uptight, we find it difficult. But for anyone who followed through there and in the exercise, I would say you found that element of calmness. I know at the minute, for some it may not be that easy to do it in the environment they're in, but yeah, it's somewhat it's something that is within our reach all the time, and it's difficult to be able to take time out. Hi Zara. We were just doing a little brief meditation there, and yeah, so my voice goes down when I'm working in that area. But yeah, and if there's any questions that you have relating to anything I've said, you're very welcome to ask. You have things like working with medical conditions like anxiety, depression, number of digestive disorders. It only will take 10 minutes in the day to actually bring about change. Because if you start to bring about change in how you're feeling in the stress levels, because going back to what we talked about earlier on how the energy all becomes very energized and all over the place, as you begin to take that energy into that stillness, there's that pace of calm that's influencing your body for that length of time that you're doing it. So it's easy to see how doing that exercise, even for 10 minutes, but ideally you could do it as many times. You can't overdose on it. You can overdose on a lot of things, but that's something you can't overdose on. You even for the few minutes doing it, you will benefit from it. And I know from a situation that a professional that I was talking to a few weeks ago, and they started doing it, and it would be against their kind of we'll say their philosophy, and but when we're all pinned against the wall, I think we'll do a lot of things that we wouldn't normally agree to. And I always feel, for whatever reason, meditation wasn't on the schedule for this evening at first. And I got 2 requests today for it, and I had 2 comments the last day following the show, that it's amazing how our time, we know what's good for us, but it's actually taking steps to exercise what's good for us. That's the hard part. So when we see when we do something like this in an environment that's non-threatening, you're not committed, I can't see you doing it, you're only yourself, but it is something that's very easy to do. And I would definitely thank you, Louise. I hope you enjoyed it, and there's a little more time spent in areas that I think was benefit to you. But it is something that's very beautiful, because you're anyone get a message from their guide? Anyone look for a message from their guide? You don't have to say the message. It's just a question I'm putting out there. It has so much potential and power, and if we look at what meditation can be in so many different ways, we will look at religious people, nuns, brothers, more so than, I suppose, secular religious. When you look at them, there's something about their aura, and that's because a lot of the time is spent in praying. And what is praying but meditation? And that's something that to generate that energy around them, so that that they have actually become calm, and it creates that calmness. It creates that whole aura that is lovely to be in the presence of. Okay, I'm just checking to see if there are any questions, because sometimes I didn't get. Well, I know if I sent, I'll give you the answer on that. Okay. No, it's okay. As I said, it's just interesting. It's just interesting with regards to the energy that the next time, as I say, I go very much on what I'm guided, because there's a reason for everything to happen. The meditation wasn't part of today, just like I think this was supposed to be the topic the last day, and it was changed at the last minute. So if there's anything that you would like to bring into discussions, because you're a group that's fairly regular, if you would like to bring into the show, you're very welcome to. If I can look at it, I will. If I can't, I'll say I can't. But it is worth. Everyone is different, and everyone has different needs. And I know I can talk a lot about, what I'm particularly interested in, but it may not be totally what you're interested in. So Like for me, the whole area of colour is just, that's me. I'm at home. I could float away when it comes to colour. There's no, you wouldn't find me, I think, where I'd go. But it's not everyone's likes. So in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be back here, and I hope you'll be able to join me that night, and for the rest of the evening and for the weekend. Hopefully you have a lovely weekend, and that the sun is shining wherever you are. We have sun here in Ireland at the moment. We are going to relish that experience, because it has been very slow to come. I wish you good night, and from all Bridges of Light, which is ongoing. There's another show coming after this in Italian. Good night and God bless. Thank you for joining me.